In 2023, according to the International Fund for Agricultural Development, funds sent home by African migrants amounted to about 95 billion US dollars, which is almost the size of the Kenyan economy. Let's talk about black tax.
Hello.
Hello, and welcome back with a very interesting topic.
Yeah.
We're looking at each other just smiling. It's like, where do you even start with black tax?
with
Like,
black
where
tax,
do
yeah.
you start?
Well, I know where to start. We can kind of define what it is for the 6 people who don't know.
For the 6 people that don't know, black tax is, it's not an official tax. What it means is people who are working in, okay, maybe not necessarily diaspora, but people who are working at have an obligation to send money to their parents every month, or at least every month.
You can say parents as such, but it's like
Relatives,
family. Yeah, family members.
Family
because
members.
Family. Our definition of family.
Yeah, that's true. Because some people may not have parents, but they're still sending to whoever brought them up, if they have those people, or cousins, whoever needs money, basically.
Needs money.
But it's more to do with. I don't think Black Americans would necessarily talk about, as much as it's called black tax. It doesn't necessarily touch a lot of Black people.
Yeah,
it's mostly people who have moved on, who are working and are better off than others. So you might not necessarily be in diaspora.
Yes,
you could still be in
country.
Zimbabwe, but you have a better job than everybody else.
You have a bit of money.
Yeah, a bit of money.
Like, not even a lot. You don't even have to have a lot, but it's a matter of that you have to support your less well-off family members. I say, because why I clarified family, I did speak about that, isn't it?
Yes.
Going
You
back.
did.
Okay.
You did.
Yeah, so I think because the idea of giving back, right, is this Ubuntu thing, isn't it?
Is what?
This Ubuntu thing.
Yes.
That's what it is. It's a philosophy.
It's a philosophy, but it's about Ubuntu at the same time.
Because Ubuntu is more about community rather than the individual.
Yeah, and it's a bit about guilt. It's a mix. That's why it's called tax. Because if it wasn't guilt, it wouldn't be called tax.
There would be anything to do
it would
with
be
tax,
probably black gratuity or something.
but
the fact that it's tax, it means that it's guilting you into doing something. It's like a thing that you have to do.
No one will happily pay a tax.
Yeah, no one happily pays tax. So
you just have to do it.
Yeah, so sometimes I envy people who have their parents with them in England or wherever they may be in that sort of area, who have come with them, because then they don't have that. It's almost a burden to some extent.
It can be straining.
It can be straining. Yeah,
but I understand that we have to help. We have to help each other. But there is some frustration that sometimes the party that is giving may feel like the party those who are receiving don't appreciate that.
There's that aspect.
Because I remember some of the messages I receive, because I'm kind of lucky that it's only my parents, but I still get stressful messages.
Yeah.
And the messages, I don't know, maybe it's kind of some poor communication, because I get something like, oh, so you want us to starve now? There's no hi.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's just a manner of speaking.
Yeah.
Right. As in, so I'm not TD. I'm speaking short now. It's that kind of thing.
What do you want us to do?
Like, what do you want us to do? We are starving now. And there you're looking at yourself. You're in an overdraft, right?
That's the thing, because at the end of the day, you want to live your life, right? We're not well off.
Yeah.
Okay. We just average people working average jobs, earning average amount of money.
Wait, you mean the podcast is not giving you money?
Not yet. It will. One day we'll be billionaires. But right as we speak, we're just average people who are just wanting to live an average life. We don't YOLO, as other people would say.
Yeah.
You know, the money that we do save, I mean, we don't eat out like that. You know, it's not like every day. We don't drink like that. We don't, but the money that we do save, we go on holidays. And when we do go on holidays, we look for places where you get £2 cocktails, $2 cocktails, not even £2.
Yeah.
You know, places like that where at least your pound will stretch.
You just be clever with
we're not looking to we're not booking 5-star hotels. Would love to. You know, it's not because we don't want to. We just don't have that kind of money to be spending £3,000
per night
on a hotel room.
You know what?
Like in the Maldives, it's
even if I have it. It just looks silly.
What, even if you have if you're a billionaire, I'll do it.
Well, I guess there's going to be. I'm saying that now because I haven't got that money.
I mean, it's the same here.
It is a bit silly sometimes. And you think, I like luxury. Yeah, I do like luxury.
I think we do like luxury. We like that, but at the same time, we recognize that we don't have that. We are what you call it, responsible adults.
No,
you know, where we're like, okay, do we really need that handbag, or do we really need that Gucci whatever it is, or that Chanel whatever it is?
Yeah,
you know,
because there are some people who want it, and some people who want that validation. It's fine.
Yeah,
if you can afford it,
even a Range Rover. Because we're always talking about
Range Rover.
It's fair enough. It's okay to buy a luxury, like a super luxury car, but at the same time, are you able to maintain it if you had to? You know, that kind of stuff. But anyway, we're kind of going off.
I was gonna go in another segue, and never mind that one.
You're gonna go even further into the segue. I was gonna go in. I realized we're going deeper into something else, so I was like, let's come bring us back up to what we're talking about, black tax. But so we would want to have all these things, but at the same time, you kind of recognize that, you know, we've got bills to pay, we've got all this other stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then there comes this text that says we need 200 quid, you know, $200 US.
Yeah.
And you're looking at it thinking, where is it coming from? You know, is it coming out of my holiday fund? You know, or stuff like that. So it's kind of like, it just kind of pulls you back a little bit in terms of if I can calculate how much money I've sent home. Yeah. You know, I mean, I read the statistics at the beginning of the podcast in terms of like, what, $93 billion US that we send a year.
Yeah.
You know, that's a lot of money. Yes. And that's only for family support. It's not even...
And you know what? No, that number is for migrants. Like, I'm sure maybe they spoke to... like World Remit, all these other companies to find a approximate figure, right? That is just for migrants. So can you imagine people who are in Zimbabwe will make a bit of something or wherever they live. And then they give to their parents. To their parents, or they support their cousin or their whoever.
But at the same time, it's one of those where we could blame the governments within those countries as well, because our parents grew up in an era where they were now up and coming, right? My dad did fairly well to get to where he got to until he retired. But the economy, the government, and things have always been against our own people. And he lost his pension due to the government. You know, he doesn't have a pension.
Yeah,
he tries to do certain things. He'll try and do farming, you know, subsistence farming, stuff like that. So he does try to do things for himself.
He shouldn't be doing as an old man.
Which he shouldn't be doing at 78 because he should have a pension. But then my dad is my dad. He will do it regardless of the fact. You know, he will still do it. Yeah. But he doesn't need to if he had he wouldn't need to if he had his pension.
Yeah.
So things like, you know, like if, for example, he's got his own house, but then they still pay bills for water, electricity, but then the electricity never comes, but they still have to pay. The water comes like for like 3 hours in the day, and then it disappears. And then the rates keep going up. He's not working. He doesn't have a pension. The little subsistence he's trying to do is just to feed himself and the people who are in the house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, we have to supplement
Yeah.
and make sure that all those other things are paid for.
Yeah.
On top of other little requests.
Yeah,
like I was
yeah.
saying to you earlier, he lost his phone. Again. He lost his phone. So we've had to sort of contribute to make sure he gets a new phone because we definitely need to be in contact with him.
Yeah. No, because when you're talking about looking at the government, right? I was reading up, there was some expert, someone who knows better, right? So what they said, how they explained it, or how they saw it was black tax is rooted in colonialism because at that time the system of oppression is sort of concentrated resources in the hands of the colonial power. Right, so in our case in Zimbabwe, the white people were well off, right? The tiny minority
Yep.
of the settlers, right, and they made it impossible for the majority to accumulate wealth. So there's no generational wealth.
Yeah.
Okay,
In your own country.
in our own
Let
country.
alone America
Right.
or Britain.
In our
We're
own
talking
country,
in your
right?
own country.
And then after independence, this is where you're talking about, let's say, about our parents. After independence, rather than that thing being fixed, it was just replicated. That system of saying, oh, now we are the minority black people who are in government or who are in certain positions. They just looked after themselves. Okay, so they didn't manage the pensions well. They didn't think about the future. Because I always look at Zimbabwe and think, Zimbabwe, a power station was built in the 1960s to supply a small population of mainly white people.
Yeah.
Right? And there was no power station built until maybe recently. I think it's still under construction.
Most probably.
Right? Why? This is why there are power cuts. You've been in government for over 40 years. You didn't think ahead. Like, oh, you know what? The population is growing. We need industrialization. We need to do this, and that. They didn't have that. So this is how we got into these situations whereby
There is no electricity.
there's everything is
I think
scarce.
at one point we were borrowing electricity from South Africa.
Buying, yeah.
Buying, not borrowing, buying electricity from South Africa. South Africa said no
Yeah.
because they started having their own problems.
Yes. What was happening in South Africa, initially it was fine, and then there was an issue with paying
Yes.
for it.
Yeah.
And then started importing from, was it Mozambique?
I can't
Wasn't
remember.
buying from Mozambique. Yeah. One time we were buying from Mozambique and from Namibia as well, I think. Trying to buy electricity from everywhere.
But now they don't even have that money to buy. So basically, you get your electricity
Overnight.
for overnight from 7 p.m., sometimes 8, sometimes 9 to about 5 a.m.
Is it like people were saying when they they just leave their phones unplugged? And
Yeah,
then,
you just
without battery, when you wake up,
it's
it's
charged.
100%.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
charged,
yeah, yeah.
but
you
sometimes
make
during
sure
the
you
night,
make sure it's charged. You make sure it's on the charger.
yeah, sometimes during the night, the electricity came, charged up, and left.
Yeah, exactly.
So also besides us, the thing about an elder, if you're the eldest child, because I remember when my brothers, then they started working, they expected to cover the bills at home. And start paying for my fees. And when I started working, I started paying for my sister's fees. And, there's the first thing you're doing is when you start making a bit of money, it doesn't have to be a lot. You are now looking, it's now a household income, as in you're part of, looking after so-and-so.
Yeah.
The moment you start working, imagine that.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
Well, yeah.
I lived it. But yeah, it's. But to be fair, when I was in Zim, I didn't send money. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't.
Well, I was living with my parents, so.
Yeah, but even when I lived with my parents, there was no expectation for me to pay rent. I remember.
Oh, was this?
No, there wasn't any sort of bills because my dad was still working, my mom was working, so there was no expectation. But I remember my cousin, who's a year older than me, and I remember going to Harare to visit them, and they were saying that, oh, we have to contribute towards the rent or the food or something. And I remember we're looking at each other as siblings, my
Why?
sister and I, like, why? You're only like 17, 18. I think he had just turned 18 or something.
Yeah.
To us it was like, huh? That doesn't seem fair. Are you not living with your parents? Like, what?
You had a different life to some of us did.
Yeah, I don't remember. Up until I came here, and then things started really getting bad in Zim. And then that's when I started paying to, contributing towards.
Like your
'Cause
salary
I remember
doesn't
even
belong
my
just to
sister,
you.
she had a really, really good job at Heinz in Zimbabwe, Heinz Industry. She was a brand marketing manager or something like that. And her salary couldn't cover her son's fees,
Yeah.
because the money was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
But they would get all these other perks, which was ridiculous. She'd get a company car,
house.
company fuel, and because she worked at Heinz, they had like olive oil
those
and
things.
beans. So
Yeah.
they'd get food packages and stuff like that. But in terms of wages, it was just enough for her to pay her bills and stuff like that. So I was like contributing towards school for him at that time. So yeah, so there was that, but that was only after I came here, and it was because I wanted to as well. It wasn't like an expectation per se.
Well, you say that, but then okay, but then no, because I can't imagine. Let's say I don't know, Ryan, my nephew, right? He starts paying for, let's say, meals as a child, and start looking after meals, child, paying fees. For example, if they have to pay fees, for example.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, as in, like, it's something that he's going to do.
But that's the thing,
would
though.
be
Here,
surprised
here,
to do that.
But that's the thing. Here, the government would take care of.
Yes, I know that.
of-
No, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, you're saying if they were in Zim.
No, if they were here, right? Let's say that he doesn't live with that expectation, like you're saying, like that, just that choice of saying, you know what? Because you're saying you made a choice. Okay. Do you see any of your nephews and nieces paying for what? Let's say, or my sister as a child, I'm going to pay for I'm just going to voluntarily pay for something. You can take the kids for a holiday, that's fine. But for an upkeep of something, let's say, okay, I'm going to be paying, I don't know, their broadband, just for example.
Yeah.
Do you see them feeling that way? I don't see it.
No. I don't think. I think they would feel it because they're caring people, but there's no expectation. It's not something that's apparent, if that makes sense. But if it was apparent, if it was something that was like, okay, can you, or if one of them were to ask the other, can you help me? And they knew that the other had a good job, I'm sure they would help. But I don't think, because they've not grown up with like us, where we saw it happening for our parents and they were contributing to their parents, and and there's that culture. It's almost like, because nobody ever told me you need to send, like once you start working, you need to do it. Like there's no sort of, it was sort of like inbuilt.
It's a thing that you just see, you just saw happening growing up, and it's just something that's, it's still, because you feel like it's normal.
Yeah,
you feel like it's just normal.
You just feel like it's normal. So that's what I'm saying with them. I'm sure even Ryan, I'm sure he loves his sister to death. So I'm sure if that was the situation, he would do it. Like if she were to ask, and I don't know, whatever would happen with the government and they don't pay for, he would help if he could. You know what I mean? But I don't think it's because everything's okay. There's no sort of
no, you know what?
feeling.
Because I was talking about getting passports for my parents, and Zimbabwe has one of the most expensive passports in the world, the top 10. $170 US dollars for each passport, right? So for both my parents, that's $240. How much is that in pounds? It's not even, I don't know, right?
But that's the express passport, though.
No. That's the normal one.
Really?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So they're not doing the one where it takes 2 years.
It doesn't take 2 years anymore. It takes about 10 days now.
No. I'm just saying, as in, because that's the one I paid for last. Because I was like, I ain't paying no 200. I think it was about 100, and that amount that you just spoke about. I think that's how much it was at the time, and I was like, I'm not paying that, so I just paid for the for the one that was 10
Yeah.
10 pounds worth.
So that's that was raised. All those fees were raised, right? So that's what £272 now, right? Right. So I was talking to my brother about it, my brother Barry about it, and then he said, yeah, I'm going to ask Charles in a minute. I said, to do what? To contribute? I said, no, because for me,
Contribute to what? To the grandparents?
yeah, to getting a passport.
Why?
Right. And I said, why would you want to stress it? He said, no, I'm just going to ask him. Maybe. I said, no, don't do that.
Because even my parents never asked me to contribute anything towards my grandparents.
But he said he was going to ask them. I said, no. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I didn't want them to feel somehow, you know, to feel someone and say, oh, you know. So it's just that thing that, because I realized that it's something that is alien to them kids.
Yeah.
Right. So, but to us,
but what about the whole thing that on your first paycheck, you should pay something towards your parents, like a thank you.
I never.
I don't think I ever did
no,
that.
But
though.
thing is, right?
Did I? May have.
Because we didn't have much. It's just something that I had to do. I didn't have to. There was no like on my first paycheck.
But I don't think it's cultural. I don't know who came up with that, because it's a thing. I don't know in other cultures. Please tell us if it's in your culture. It's particularly African. I don't know, but if it's something that you guys do, that on your first ever actual paycheck, where you're like, I've finished college or uni or whatever.
Or school, yeah,
I've got my first job that may relate to your job, like, you know.
Yeah.
And your first paycheck, you're like, yeah, I'm giving something or like a gift to my parents. Let us know.
Oh yeah, I don't know. Yeah, maybe some people do. But things, because one thing about this black checks, right? Because you can help someone once. You say, oh, so and so is medical emergencies. They are the ones that are terrifying. Because it becomes a never-ending cycle whereby you send some money just to do something temporarily, right? Because that we plug a hole and that hole will reopen again.
Yeah.
Okay. So in the end, what it does is, what we want is a balance between helping your family and personal financial health. Because what I don't want is for someone else to have the burden of looking after me in the future. You know?
Yeah.
Because I don't know, I wouldn't want that. I don't think, I think I would have failed if I had to have someone looking after me, a family member saying, would I feel that way? I don't know. I don't think I would want that to burden someone else. An individual to say, they have to look after me because...
You mean when you get older and you're in like a care home or something, or at least that...
Oh my God, please don't put me in a care home.
So you want me to be burdened by taking care of you?
No, as in...
You've just contradicted yourself.
No.
Because I'm wondering, I'm thinking, are you talking about care home?
We're talking about money. I'm talking about money. As in, that's a financial burden to someone else. I don't want to be that, like say, when I get older, even now. It doesn't have to be older. But because in our case, we look after our parents. Okay. But I'm just thinking about someone having to look after me financially. Yeah. I can understand if health, if you have a health problem, it deteriorates. Someone looking after and being physically, there's some things you can help. But for someone to say, okay, I have to pay Laura's rent, I have to do this and that, I have to do this and that, perpetually. Okay, because there was a time when I needed some help, when things went a bit tits up, right? But it's like, okay, this is the thing now. I will be looking after Lawrence until he dies, or until
vegetable.
Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I just think that, because I know I have to look after my parents. We have to look after our parents because, we don't. Yeah. Healthcare is a bit dodgy.
You see, but that's the thing
Non-existent.
also, like in terms of black tax pulls us back,
It does, yeah.
because like I said, I can, if I were to account for the amount of money I've sent home, I could have used that to probably build a home in Zimbabwe maybe, or used it to deposit on another house here,
Or even
or
just funds.
or
Just like
invest
in investments. Yeah, yeah.
or
'cause-
invest and get some, something back for my retirement,
Mm.
or to build generational wealth. Because that's at the end of the day, the idea is you don't want your kids to come up and be in the same situation where, like you're mentioning,
Yeah.
where you're financially unable to take care of yourself, and now your children
They have to look after you.
are having to take care of you.
And then
But the idea is you build generational wealth where people will be like, oh, Uncle Laurie left me a house in Derby, or he left me 80,000,
even £5,000,
80,000.
£10,000 doesn't
Yeah,
have to be,
or whatever.
It doesn't have to be a huge
no, I'm
amount
just,
of
I'm
money.
just
Yeah,
giving
yeah.
an example.
Yeah, yeah.
That he left me this to, he's in his will. He said, this money needs to go towards a deposit for my house when I turn 25 or
Yeah.
whatever. But 25. Hey, how old will you be when you passed away?
Depends on which.
No, because I'm just thinking that the
yeah.
youngest one is Damien. Gosh, that would
yeah,
give you
yeah.
10 years, 15 years.
Yeah.
No, but yeah. So it would be that's the idea. That's the ideal thing that I would want to leave for my, for the little ones behind me.
Yeah.
I don't want to be, like you're saying, a burden as well. But at the same time, this black tax is pulling us back because, we could be investing in other things or opening ISA accounts for the little ones.
Stock and shares ISAs. Because other people that I feel like, just in my, I was going to say that, other people I feel like, like when people get married and then they're also expected to take care of the extended family.
Oh, yeah.
I was talking to one guy, I won't say his name. I was talking to this guy. He married an English woman. Mm-hmm. He's from Zimbabwe. Mm-hmm. Okay. And she's saying, wait, why are you sending money to when you are in an intercultural, marriage.
Yeah.
And so you were saying, you know what, trying to explain that I need to do this and that, need to do this and that, right? It's difficult. I'm sure she kind of understands, but she was thinking, why are you doing that?
Yeah.
So there's that cultural effect that, okay, you have to pay this tax. Well, I'm not white. I'm not black, sorry. I'm not white. Why are you paying black tax?
Why are you paying black tax? But but then I know we're talking from a perspective of, our parents are struggling. But then there are some parents who are not struggling, but people are still sending money.
Really?
Yeah.
Why would you though?
Black tax.
So regardless of your parents' status, you owe them.
Yeah. When I say not struggling, I don't mean like they're millionaires in Zimbabwe, because there are some parents who are like minted.
Who send you money.
Who will send you money, which is amazing. But I mean those who are sort of like okay-ish, they have their things together, they have whatever it is, but people will still send money because they just feel like, I owe my parents whatever. There's that, like I said, guilt, more like, to send.
Well, maybe you guys describing as guilt. Maybe it's just grace. They are grateful for what they did.
I think it's guilt. Honestly, Lawrence, it's guilt. It's guilt.
The parents make you feel good.
No. They don't feel you yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's no. The parents don't make you feel guilty.
Okay, so let's say your dad was minted, all right, in Zim. And you didn't.
No, minted. Then he would send.
Okay, not minted. Okay,
but okay.
Let's say your dad had. Okay, for example, if he made, I don't know, it's something that gives him, I don't know, $2,000.
Yeah.
Let's say $2,000 a month, or $1,000 a month, right? Would you still feel obligated to send him money every month?
Yeah.
What for?
I feel like I would.
What for?
No.
It just needs to be done.
Yeah, it would be more like because my dad doesn't spoil himself, and I think it would be because at the minute I'm sending money for actual things,
Needs. Yeah,
right?
yeah. You're stepping in for the government.
I'm stepping in for the government. At the
fund.
minute, I'm stepping in for the government.
So in the end,
But if he had 1,000 where he was able to pay off everything every month, and he was like, okay, now I would send just that little bit for him to say, spoil yourself. So he can take himself for meals, and he can take himself, or even travel and do other things. You know what I mean? So there'll be that little extra, maybe not travel, like I wouldn't be sending money for flights. Yeah, I'm not that minted.
No, okay.
But you know what I mean? Like just to travel. He's got other kids at the minute, like younger than us.
Yeah.
So maybe take them to Victoria Falls for a family trip. You know that kind of something else on top, where he could do things with his
No,
family.
because I'm looking at it like if he had, after paying everything for himself and stuff, if he had like a $500 extra, this is what we're looking at. I don't think I'll be sending my parents every month.
I don't know about every month. No, I don't know about every month, but there'll be some
because once in a while you can do something for them.
Yeah, just to say, spoil yourself. It's your birthday or whatever, stuff like that. But yeah,
because at the moment we are like a pension fund in the moment.
We're the pot. It's like, what's in your pot? So.
Oh, I forgot what I was going to say. Now we got carried away with stuff.
You got carried away.
We got carried away. Oh my god.
Do you need me to remind you?
Yeah. Say something.
Say something.
Yeah.
No. What can I say now? Now I'm confused.
Okay. You see, we have to entertain people by, we have to speak to entertain people. So if we both run out of things, if we both run out of things to say, then we might as well.
We might as well cut it now. Cut it. No. Like I mentioned at the top of the podcast, people who have their parents here, pretty much are starting to, and as much as I love seeing it, I also sort of envy it. Where parents are like giving their kids a bit of money when they leave the house, money for deposit for homes, that kind of thing. So if parents were here, like our parents, I think we would have been. It's just that our parents were a little bit older, but if they'd come,
the government would be stepping in.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, my dad is a very generous person, and I'm sure your parents are too. I know them, and I think if they had lived here, or they were the start of the journey, like they had come first with you as maybe in your teens or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm sure they would have made provision for you, and I know my dad would have done the same. Like, helped out and made sure that we had everything that we needed as far as they could.
Okay,
obviously.
You say that though. There are people who have, we've kids here. We have kids here, but they are not. Maybe that's just an anomaly anyway of people who are not financially responsible. They still expect their kids to do. It's not like teaching the children to do something as such, but they're giving these kids responsibilities that they should have taken care of. Because maybe because I was okay. We're going to have a podcast, one episode where we talk about financial sort of literacy, so to speak, as in. Although you're saying you admire that, right? Because there are some people who are some parents who are clever enough to say, okay, or maybe even if they came with the kids in their teens, or if they had kids here, they were clever enough to learn about preparing for their pension or for their kids in the future. But there are some that are not aware of. They haven't done any of that, and they just expect their kids to step in. Right, because they're not. Yeah, right.
The thing is, sometimes you don't know the circumstances behind. Yes, there's some who shouldn't be doing that, but then there's some who maybe came and they didn't have papers, right? And only now they're starting to start building, because maybe they've had to do menial jobs. They couldn't get into whatever it is that they wanted to get into.
Or the periods of unemployment.
Periods of unemployment.
I get that, yeah.
So it's possible, and it takes a while to build wealth, and
Okay, I'm not talking about building wealth. I'm talking about learning to be sort of financially responsible. Because what I see is, because I have someone specific in mind. Okay, I have someone specific in mind, when I look at them, I'm thinking, come on, man.
so I can join in the conversation.
Not come on, man, as such. Come on, both of you.
Okay. Yeah.
So okay. Oh, here we are. We're doing pre-production. Me texting.
No, but it came to mind. It came to mind after we started. So no, it's just that, because if I know the person, then I can join the conversation, and because then I know where you're going with it.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So it's that kind of thing, as in, like, do you realize how old you are now? What are you preparing for?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's that, like I said, maybe it's just people who are not financially literate, or they are not responsible enough.
But do you reckon that it could be
because
there's no ambition? When you look at it from one side, I can see that there may be no ambition, but from the other side, I'm not 100% sure.
No, I think it's a combination of one being not being responsible, and the other being financially illiterate. It's a combination of those two, for me, in my view, right? And I think that those kids will be playing black tax.
Financial literacy. Would you say financial literacy comes from lack of ambition, though? Because if you were like, okay, I'm here, I'm in England, I need to make sure that or are you just happy being in that little bubble that you're in?
Okay.
Because as far as they're concerned, they've made it. They're here, they're in the UK, they've got their little spot of council house or whatever. They're happy to them. Or, do you know what I mean? Like, there's that lack of, okay, this is it. I get my money from wherever. I don't know.
I think it's being satisfied by things that don't give you much in the end, like getting the latest mobile phones, huge TVs. Because that's what people do, isn't it? A lot of people these stupidly huge TVs. I'm thinking, why do you have such a big TV in your house?
Brand new cars.
You know what? Yesterday, just a quick thing. Yesterday, I said to Sandra, someone we visited yesterday. I said, you know what? Our TV is 32-inch TV. We have a 32-inch TV in our house.
I think we've mentioned this on the podcast before.
And then she said, oh, really? I thought it was 20-inch. Oh, my God. We need to get a 65-inch TV, okay?
She thought it was a 20-inch.
It was a 20-inch TV. It's that small, because she has a huge TV.
I know, but it's starting to look like a computer monitor.
Yes.
Because some companies have these. Okay, it's slightly bigger than a computer monitor, though. But yeah.
Don't you have?
No. It's bigger.
Is it 28? That's our computer screens. Are they 28 or 32?
They're 28.
28.
They're smaller. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not far off, is it?
It's not far off.
And because of that, I've had to wear my glasses these days watching TV.
You thought it was 20. So, but there are some people they were like, oh, I've been to your house, I'm going to buy this TV. So I think it's the satisfaction of things of being satisfied with that. Okay. And not thinking about.
But who's that artist who says, if you drink champagne and if you drink a lager, the end game is to get drunk?
Oh, it's the same end game. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
it's a Shona artist,
yeah,
but
okay.
basically he gives a few other analogies, but that's the only one I can think of right now.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's kind of like if I watch X Factor on my 32-inch TV and someone watches X Factor on their 65-inch TV, we've both watched X Factor. We both have the same perspective. We've both seen it. We've both seen the winner. Do you know what I mean? Like we've seen it.
Okay, that's a comforting thought, but the way you enjoy things is different. Like, because you might as well say, if you go to holiday in Butlins, you can go to holiday in why I go to I don't know, to Dubrovnik when I can go to Butlins. I'm still on holiday.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think it's just a comforting thought because there are some things that you can enjoy them.
No, but at the same time, it's also perspective, Lawrence, because if Butlins is your holiday, right? Because this person is obviously saying, don't be hung up on the fact that you only have 100 quid in your account. You can still enjoy. You can still have a beer, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Right.
Okay,
so we're looking at it. We're not saying we've got the same amount of money, but we're choosing to go to Butlins, right? We're saying that this person has 1,000 and this person has 100, and maybe that's why. So this person is saying, you with your $100 can enjoy your TV screen at 32-inch because that's what you can afford, and don't be sad about it because at the end of the day, you've both watched X Factor, right? So when you go to Butlins with your 100 quid, you can still go on holiday, you can still have peace of mind, relaxation, whatever that comes with holiday. It's Butlins, yes, but it's still, you still get the same endorphins, whatever it is that fills you up. But at this, I know we're not it's not apples and oranges, but I was just trying to give an example.
I get that
of the fact that
if
we shouldn't be hung up on 65-inch TVs. Basically, that's where I'm going with this. Okay.
So that thought now, because I remember being asked specifically, can you send me an iPhone, for example? Sending to that's part of the text. It isn't just money; it's about the things you send, right? When people make a request for a phone, they don't want the cheap ITEL phone. There's something called ITEL. I don't know what is, right? What they want is, can you buy me an iPhone? Remember mom saying, can I say she wanted what? It's something Pro.
She wanted the 14 Pro.
Oh, like, what? I've got an iPhone 12. Myself at that time I had an iPhone.
No, my dad will never ask for, he's happy with just anything. He'll never ask for
more. Yeah. But, so
yeah.
those kind of things, right? Because someone is thinking, well, I've got my kids in the UK. I've got 4 kids in the UK.
Yeah.
Surely they can all band together and buy me this.
Yeah, but that's the thing though, with with that, right? With your mom, for example, like you mentioned, she'll have the iPhone, but she's not going to use the features of an iPhone. For her, it's more of, I have an iPhone. It's not, I want to use an iPhone.
Do you know
what I mean? Like,
it's more. It's also like, people. My iPhone, people, I have kids in the UK, people can see me, so my kids brought me an iPhone 14 Pro.
Yeah. So it's more the name rather than I really want an iPhone to use and to do what iPhones do.
Yeah.
Whatever, whatever features
use
they have.
WhatsApp and Facebook.
Yeah. And YouTube. But yeah, so it's an interesting one.
That's the thing about the text now, right? Because there's a time where there's a thing about taking care of someone's needs, right? Like their food, their accommodation, their health, and then there's the other things and expectation. Like where like when going home, for example. Right, I'm saying when you go because I haven't been for a while. When you go, you can't just turn up empty-handed. You have to have something with you.
As a woman. Let's caveat that.
So it's a
woman thing.
It's like blacktext.women.
It's a woman / black woman.
Okay, so blacktext.black women.
Yes.
Or brackets.
You know there's a lot of expectations on black women. And it's that's what it is. Because my cousin, my brother cousin, my brother cousin.
Okay.
they can all go to Zim with like a 15-kilo suitcase with just their clothes. If that.
And everything is fine.
And everything is fine. No one will be like, hey, he didn't bring me this, he didn't bring me that, he didn't. You go to Zim, me go to Zim with nothing. You know, and...
You should try it once.
I did try it this year, but I'm going to really strip down next year, I think. Because I just don't have the money, and I don't have... and you know what it is as well? It's like, I've always said to people, but what about me? When I go back to the UK, how come nobody ever buys me a packet of custard creams?
You buy yourself this stuff.
I have to buy myself these things now to sort of say, oh, I'm taking all these little goodies, nostalgic goodies that I like. Nobody ever buys me and says, oh, thank you for that dress you brought me. Here's a pack of custard creams for you to take with you. Apart from one person, my cousin, I love her to death.
Yeah.
She gave me some biscuits and stuff to take with me. But and I'm like, I'm simple, like when you not simple like simple-minded, but like when you when you come back, you're like, I just want my temba, I want my puti, I want it's just the simple things that don't cost a lot, Nobody ever.
So it's one way.
It's always one way. So this time around, I'm like, no, I'm buying all these things that are, I wouldn't say expensive as such, but once you fill up 2 23-kilo bags, you've spent a heck of a lot,
So is it like, because I feel.
And also why I said black women is because my cousin recently went with his missus, who's British white, and she went with just her bag.
And do you know when when you asked me to send, I put something in their luggage, isn't it? What did I actually do?
Oh, it was some stuff that I'd bought for. I was still in Zim.
You were still in
so
Zim.
I ordered some stuff on eBay, and then you had to take it to them.
Yeah. And it was like she was wondering, like, why are you carrying so much stuff?
Exactly. No, it's just that I'd seen that my dad needed some things, and I just thought, you know what, let me order since they're coming. But yeah.
Okay, so I think yourself, right? In your view, how do you agree that many people that many people that anyway, right? They think that their family members can feel like a sense of entitlement.
Yeah, there's a bit of that.
Like, well,
there might be a bit of that. I don't feel it as such, though. To be fair, with my dad, I don't really get it with.
No, as in like in your experience,
but when I go on holiday, yes, I feel that there's a bit of an entitlement. Like, what's in their bag? What you got for me?
No, because I got this thing from there's a footballer. He was played for Nigeria, played for Chelsea, was whatever, right? And what he says is, when you come from Africa, when you make money, it's not your money. It's not just your money. You have all these relatives, cousins, in whatever you call it. I think he was annoyed that he had to look after so many people. He's made loads of money. He was earning over 100,000 a week for 100,000 pounds a week.
I think once you start earning a lot more,
if you're rich,
then all these cousins and uncles will start coming out with the woodworks. Yes, they'll turn up. They'll start just sending random messages and stuff like that. I'm sure. I don't get it just yet. I suppose people can understand or see that I'm not that well off. So I don't get that. But I think when you go to Zim, it's expensive now, currently. When I first went to Zim in 2010, it was okay, because there was still the government of national unity. Things was still a bit tight in terms of what you call it, inflation or whatever. So when I was spending my USD and translating it into US dollars and / can't remember what the money was then, whatever it was,
Wait, in Zimbabwe, we had $10. Then you went what?
I can't remember what I used when I first went back, but it went a long way, right? So I would go with, I think my first ever trip when I went to Zim, I went with $500, and we spent and we spent and we ate and we ate and we enjoyed and we bought and we bought. Right.
Oh my God! What were you buying?
No, I'm just saying, as in within reason. But you know what I mean. It was enough for me to sort of do what I needed to do, and not like I was buying the whole shop and
then
whatnot.
you went back again with £500.
Yes, then I went again with 500. It was okay-ish, but I could see there was now starting to change. This last time I went with $2,000. It was not enough.
What were you doing with £2,000?
$1,000. It was not enough. So, you tell me.
What am I going to tell you? You tell me. What were you spending the money on? No,
you tell me. No, but it's like...
Look, okay. Are you telling me you paid £2,000, $2,000 black tax in 5 weeks?
Yes.
It was mostly black tax.
And no, that wasn't even in 5 weeks. That was in 4 weeks.
4 weeks.
Because when I went to South Africa, I was now using my bank card. This was just the cash that I took to Zim. So this was in 4 weeks.
Yeah. What was this?
Do you know what I mean? Like, Zimbabwe is expensive, guys.
No, but I think maybe you're overdoing it. Because people who live in Zimbabwe, they don't spend $2,000.
Lawrence,
they don't
how did I overdo it? Where?
They don't earn $2,000.
How? You tell me how I overdid it.
If you you tell me, yeah, the one. I can't tell you. You tell me.
Because I was literally at home the whole time. I was just buying groceries for us to eat. The time that I was there,
you were spending a lot more than usual.
No, but it was just normal groceries. Like not normal as in, but yeah, just normal. I would say they don't usually have like rice and they'll have, obviously people in Zim, we eat sadza and stuff. So like you'll be buying your rice, chicken, beef, just the usual stuff. Because obviously now I'm here, I'm there. So the expectation is, now we're saving our money because,
Nah, I think
the breadwinner is here. Well, so just the usual stuff.
No, for me, this I think that's how the.
Obviously, I did other things. I did like the painting of the house and the razor wire, putting up the razor wire. There was that as well involved. So it wasn't all just food.
No, I get that. No, what I'm just saying is, when you went back, maybe what you don't realize is you're paying like a tourism tax now, or a holiday tax, because what you were doing that you thought was normal was not normal for people at home. So you're doing a bit more. You're overachieving. You're doing a bit more than you should, because that's what I said, right? Because normally you do not send £2,000 every month, but the moment you get there, yes, you're spending money on yourself. Yes, you're going to do a few more things.
Yeah, because I'm on holiday. You don't just want to go there.
Like I said, I thought we agreed that Zimbabwe is not a holiday.
But still, you don't want to go and then you're just like, everyone's just white, mouths are white, everyone's just hungry. And then you're also there just saying, me also, I'm hungry. You know what I mean? It doesn't work. You can't. And then you've got the fuel. Fuel is about £1, $1.30.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Which is about £1, what? How much is that? £1.10.
It's cheaper. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but that's expensive. You think about Cambodia, how much we juiced up that motorbike.
Did you even juice it?
Yeah, we had to remember because the guy didn't put fuel for us.
Yeah, that was foolish though.
But we spent less than, I think it was like $1. I think I don't know how much it was, but
don't they have my oil
fuel is I don't know why fuel is so expensive in South Africa. It's way cheaper for fuel. And the South Africans are complaining that it's expensive, and they earn more.
It's
So
it's
imagine just
government
filling
tax,
in,
yeah.
fueling my dad's car for us to travel to go XYZ.
No, but that's the thing about Zimbabwe, right? There's a lot of government tax. This like why our passports were $170
Yeah,
when in Malawi the same passport $22. Right.
exactly.
Even although the one in UK is 80,
I
70
think it's
or
80
80.
now.
Right.
Which reminds
Which
me, I need
is
to renew my passport.
which, so
I still got the red one. I'm going to blue now.
yeah, join us.
Uh,
So yeah, so I think about black tax. It is kind of unavoidable
mm,
in a way because you care for the well-being, and it becomes a problem when the two sides, because there are times when when I was told, oh, we need money for, oh my God, I'm outing my family here. Um, you know,
go on.
mom is not feeling well. She needs to do this. I need the hospital for this heart thing. It needs this much, right? So my sister and I, we scrambled, send the money, right? You know, I never heard anything about the test results. Absolutely nothing. Even up to now, that was a few years ago.
Yeah, but that's
That was up to now.
but that's
So-
that's the
so-
thing. You're right. You're right. I don't know. I don't know whether you where were you going with this? So you're saying
No,
that
in the end,
they
no.
weren't appreciative or they didn't.
I can't say, I can't say it's not being appreciative, but there's like sometimes, I think
Silence.
the silence after you sent the cash money,
Yeah.
the silence,
Yeah, that always amazes me.
and-
It's like all of a sudden they're available. They're texting you, I need this, XYZ. You get 5, 6, 10, 20 messages. Okay, maybe not 20. I'm exaggerating. But I'll get the one message or two messages, right?
Yeah.
But then once you send the money, it's like you can see, and nowadays as well, whereas back in the day, you wouldn't even know if that money has been collected, right?
yeah,
Back in the day when we used to send with
Western Union.
or
When you had to go to the
Mukuru,
place.
and you had to go to wherever. But now with World Remit, it will tell you money has been collected,
yeah,
right? To say delivered and then collected.
Yeah.
So you know the person's got the
the
money.
money.
So now you're expecting, okay, let us know how it goes, or tell me, or say thank you, or
and you have to,
and,
absolutely
absolutely nothing until you're like, have you received it?
and
like,
you know what?
you know,
That is the same for so many people.
yeah.
So in the
I've
end,
spoken to a lot of people that say exactly who live here, say
Yeah.
exactly the same thing. Like you'll get that pressurized message, and it's so pressurized, and you start to feel, oh my God, you know. And sometimes the message also comes, like from my dad's current wife. The way she writes her messages, like when dad's not well, you think like, oh my God, this like what you were saying about the hospital. You're like, OMG, you know, like we have to send this money. You panic. You start to think, oh my God, what's happening? Only to realize that he's fine. It's not, you know, it's not as deep as it's
Yeah.
the way in which the message is
it's sent to
written
you. Yeah.
and sent. You're like, you know, oh my God, you know, and you're like, you
Yeah.
know, and now but you don't know because you're so far away. And
Yeah.
then that whole thing of I have to send money because I don't want to be that person that doesn't, and then something
If
happens.
something happens, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's that kind of thing. So I think for me, that is one of the things that sort of create that, especially when it comes to the parents, because I've not sent money to my car. Once in a while, I have sent money to a few cousins many years ago. Many years ago, I've done that, right? But
But to be fair, my dad is okay. He will say, okay, thank you, or whatever. But sometimes it's hit and miss. But like you're saying with cousins or people who are like, hey, guys, hey.
yeah, it's that's the kind of thing that you never hear anything else.
Yeah.
So this is what,
and then you never get another message. At least
Yeah.
with my dad, he will sometimes send you a message. Good morning, my daughter. Nothing else. He does not ask him for anything else. You know, it's just.
Yeah. So
But others, it's like once you see it, you know there's a request coming.
So this is what creates this. Do you know how many people I've ignored, like on Facebook? I mean, that's terrible. How many people I've ignored on Facebook? I remember one guy used to say, "Oh, Lawrence, what we do is right. If you can buy some iPhones, send them here, and then I will sell them, and then I'll give the money to your parents." Like, bruh, what do you take me for? You think the iPhones are cheap?
This business.
Those were
of
the early
iPhones.
days. These were early days
You know
of
what's
iPhones
funny,
then.
right? You know, you're
Yeah.
talking about iPhones earlier, about sending it to moms. My cousin and I were talking. So she recently came, with the certificate of sponsorship thing.
Yeah. Oh, well
Right.
done.
So I was gonna say service again. Anyway, so she was talking and she was like, "Hey, hi, yeah, things are tough. Things are tough." And I was like, "You see, you used to send us messages just wanting money, or even from your brother, because her brother has been here like 20 years, whatever." So the brother used to send money for upkeep when because she wasn't working, she couldn't work, and she has 4 kids and all this and all that, right?
Yeah.
So he was sending all this money, and I want to assume there was a bit of pressure from her to say, "Hey,
Like,
things are not
things are
things
tight.
are
Yeah,
tight,
yeah.
whatever." So he would send the money, and sometimes randomly she would also message me, right? So this time around, I was speaking to her about. I'll just say it anyway. She borrowed some money, so I was like, "How far? When is my money coming back?"
I think about that. Yeah.
And she was like, things are tight, things are not well, this, that, and the other. I've got 4 mouths to feed, and what. And I was like, you see, you guys used to think things were easy. And she was like, "You know what? I just received a message because I said to her, oh, you're lucky because at least most of your relatives are here, because most of her relatives from her father's side are here."
Yeah.
She was like, "No, most of my mom's relatives are still in Zoom. So I get all these messages." And somebody was asking me for an iPhone just recently. And I was like, "And what did you do?" She was like, "I only have a Samsung A20 something that's broken. And they're asking for an iPhone." And I was like, "See, this is exactly what we were trying to tell you guys. It's not that easy.
It's not that easy. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, but that thing is, it can be, especially when you have no cash for it. Not even when especially when you're in a tight squeeze.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh my God, I have to do this now. I have to. It becomes something that's done out of obligation rather than love.
Yeah.
That's the thing about black tax. It's like, it's the obligation of it.
Yeah.
Because I would love to be. It would be a better thing. I think I would have done it so much better if say I'm going to treat my parents with, they've never been to Victoria for.
Exactly.
I'm going to arrange that
Yeah.
for my parents. I'm going to do this.
And you know what annoys. I'm gonna say annoy. I don't know. I can't think of the right word. But when you go home, right? Okay, when I go home, because you don't.
No,
know.
don't say that. Yeah.
But it's like, even when I'm there, I feel guilty for spoiling them. Because at the end of the day, they're probably thinking, "Well, I still need to pay school fees. Well, I need to pay this." And you're spending this money on
that.
that.
Yeah, I get it.
Does that make sense?
Okay,
we're having steak and chips and pizza, but at the end of the day,
what a meal,
you've spent 50 quid on this when I could use that to pay off my debts, even not even school fees. But
okay,
yeah. So sometimes you're like,
let's say,
should I just use this money and just give them rather than spending it on this? But then at the same time, it's like,
but if you give it to them, all right, they will still expect you to pay for the steak and chips and pizza.
Nah, I don't.
You don't think so? No, I'm just saying.
I know, but I wouldn't do that. It's one or the other.
One or the other.
Yeah.
So either you pay for your debts or you get steak and chips and pizza. All right. Yeah, but I don't know. Hopefully, I think the way out of it is for our governments to.
Yeah, because like you're
us.
saying, we're standing in a gap. We're filling a gap, which we shouldn't be, and it should not be that expensive. Do you know what? I don't mind sending money. Like remember what we used to do back in the day? You'd send 20 quid to 30 quid, and that would be enough for the month, for the week, whatever it was, right? That was okay. That was fine. So I don't mind sending money. It's just that because it's so expensive now in Zim.
Yeah, you send a lot more.
It's like you're sending, the money that you're supposed to be saving at the end of the month.
Yeah,
to-
because
towards your whatever.
yeah, because can you imagine like you're here 20 years, and cause if we're putting £50 a month, for example,
Oh, you're calculating now.
yeah, £50 a month.
Uh-huh.
So that's 50 times 12. That I knew it was £600. I knew it was 600.
just carry on.
Right. So if you say 600
Uh,
times 20 years, for example, right, that's £12,000 without any interests.
yeah.
Okay. So I don't know if I put, because the interest rates are so low in this country, if I put 3% in, put the wrong number, isn't it? If I put
So something like 0.4, aren't they?
yeah, it's or
Yeah, how much?
No, it has to be compound, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah. Yeah, it has to be compound, but
Yeah.
just do it at 12.
What do you mean?
The 12,000.
No, what I need to do is say 600. Okay, 600 at 1.0, let's say 3%. Yeah, right. Then times 12. It doesn't sound like a lot. Yeah, I messed up. But anyway, I've messed up the mathematics. Yeah, because I have to do it per year. Yeah. But anyway, just for example, if you had £12,000 that you haven't touched in 20 years, right? If you had like a stocks and ISA, that is quite a lot. It would be way more than £12,000.
Yeah, of course.
Because those index funds, they do like 8 to 10% per annum, and over time, it might, because like saying, if you were to calculate how much money you have spent home over the years, the 20 years you've been here, it's a lot of money that could be generational wealth.
Yeah. Exactly.
Just help someone to say, oh, you know what? Oh, yeah, he is £2,000. There's £5,000. There's £20,000. Yes, £30,000. Because this is how white people do it, or British people do it. Let me say, the ones who are clever enough. Because these kids, after a while, oh, I'm 21. I bought a house. You are 21. You bought a house. Where you get the money from?
My great aunt, not even the parents.
Yeah, not even the parents. Yeah. So all these old people.
Yeah.
Okay, we are not saying that all people here are rich. They don't need looking after. They do. There are people who need financial assistance here. Yes, they are. Right. But when you need financial assistance, the way the way things are set up, it is not up to an individual to help their whatever. To help their thing financially as such, because you have to go to a council, you go to a government, the social services to do some of that.
Yeah.
But people still struggle.
But that's what I was mentioning earlier, that
it's not
up to us, exactly. Like if your grandma is struggling, you can always access whatever it is.
Yeah, you try to access.
If your mom is struggling, they can access something. There's always something somewhere.
You get some help. Yeah.
At the end of the day, all you need to do is visit and bring a cake and a cup of tea and biscuits. That's about as much as you need to do. Obviously keep them company and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, you can always get these people that come in, domiciliary care. To
even this, when you mentioned loneliness, maybe we should do an episode about loneliness.
Possibly, yeah. That'd be a good one.
Anyway.
Alrighty, black tax. Yeah.
Because we're trying to navigate. Yeah, so black tax is a big deal. So we try to navigate it without being too personal. It's unavoidable to tell personal circumstances.
Yeah.
Because I
think we said a bit though.
They are quite reflective.
Yeah.
With other people.
But yeah, if you have any interesting stories on black tax, it would be good to hear from you. Yeah. Because I'm sure everybody's got different ones. Particularly, I would love to hear other African countries.
What it's like.
Yeah, what it's like for you guys.
Okay.
Or even other people that send. I'm saying African because I know Africans do send, but I don't know about other nationalities.
They do. I know, like Filipinos.
Yes, I know. Filipinos definitely.
Yeah.
They send. We
had, when the Eastern Europeans started coming here, a few would say, I'm sending to my parents.
Yeah.
But yeah, Yeah, but it wasn't the same level as some of us. Yeah, but I
There's a
think
whole salary. It's like you're paying someone a salary, isn't it?
but I know like a lot of Asians. You know what? There's no difference between Asia and Europe. It's the same. Why are there two continents? Because a continent there has to be divided by water, isn't it? Africa continent, North America, just America. Europe and Asia, there's no division.
Yeah,
is
they're
there?
divided by racism, mate. Come on.
Oh,
Let's
okay.
move on.
Racism is a river.
Racism is a river. Jeez, ever flowing,
It's a
never ending. It's a never ending river of racism.
Right. It's a
Get with the
geographical
program,
thing.
mate.
Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in.
Yes, thank you.
Tell others.
Tell others.
Tell them we are on Spotify.
Engage with we've asked you a few questions within the podcast, so make sure you go back and tell us what you think.
Tell us what you think. You can find us on Instagram. That's where we are. Twitter. I'm giving up Twitter because Elon Musk is an idiot. But there is a Twitter account. But I think.
What, for 20 years a migrant?
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But
See,
I just converted the Southern Chips one. I just changed it.
Oh, okay.
But I think Instagram would be the best. Although right now Instagram is getting annoying, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's really getting annoying. But that's the way to get in touch. So anyway, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye. Bye.